Vecna isn't ripped from medieval grimoires or demon folklore. He's built from other fictional monsters who also skip the demonology textbooks. The Duffer brothers raided their VHS shelf, their Dungeons and Dragons binders, and a pile of Stephen King novels, then assembled a villain from the spare parts. Vecna is 1980 seconds horror cannibalizing itself for the streaming era. First ingredient, Freddy Krueger. Burned alive by vengeful parents, scarred face, drags victims into an alternate dimension where he rewrites the rules. Chrissy's death in season 4 is a direct homage to Tina's murder in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, right down to the floating body and broken limbs. The show doesn't hide the influence. Robert Englund, who played Freddy, appears as Victor Creel, Vecna's father. That casting choice is a citation in human form. Next layer, Pennywise from Stephen King's IT. Both shapeshift into their victim's deepest fear. Both hunt vulnerable kids by feeding on trauma and guilt. Both vanish after the first boss fight instead of dying, retreating to lick their wounds like a horror sequel waiting for renewal. Vecna stalks Hawkins the way Pennywise stalks Derry, not with claws, but by weaponizing your worst memory. Then there's Pinhead from Hellraiser. Vecna follows the same arc, curious human obsessed with forbidden knowledge, dabbles in dark forces, gains psychic power, loses his humanity, transforms into a monstrous entity with a face only a concept artist could love. Add visual DNA from the Night King's icy stare and Swamp Thing's grotesque mutations, and you've got a Frankenvillain stitched together from pop culture scrap. The name and some structure come from Dungeons and Dragons. In D&D, Vecna is an arch-lich who ascended to godhood through dark magic. Early editions knew him mainly as two cursed artifacts, the hand and the eye, severed body parts you could graft onto your character, if you were willing to carve out your own limb first. Over time, D&D fleshed out his backstory, humble origins, forbidden power, monstrous transformation. The Duffer brothers consulted Wizards of the Coast during Season 4, but they treated that lore like a mood board, not a rulebook. Notably, D&D's Vecna has zero ties to real-world occult tradition, even though Stranger Things loves mining the satanic panic. What makes Vecna work is that he feels inevitable, the monster a generation raised on slasher films, horror novels, and weekend campaigns would eventually dream up. He's pop culture consuming itself, horror fiction making horror fiction out of horror fiction. Vecna proves that modern entertainment doesn't always adapt ancient myths. Sometimes it just remixes its own creations until they feel mythic. If you want more breakdowns of monsters built from other monsters, subscribe and drop which franchise Frankensteined your favorite villain.